Welcome to Gene and Mike do the New York Times crossword.
Hi, I'm Jean.
And I'm Mike. And today we are doing the crossword for Sunday, October 6th, 2024. So, on this perfect Sunday, did you do the crossword?
I did do the crossword.
And was it a perfect crossword?
It was a perfect crossword.
Wow.
No, it only rated a C+.
Oh, I see. And that ties directly into the theme.
Yes, it does.
You want to talk about that first?
Okay. It was kind of an amazing theme. The title of the puzzle was Teacher's Marks. And often, on a Sunday, they will have long answers to the theme clues that are kind of punny or play on words or something like that.
Indeed.
And this one had 7 common phrases for the themed answers, and the clues were supposed to be, I think, students, like a student writing an essay, and they were various sentences within the essay, and the answer was sort of the teacher's comment about that particular part of the essay. So, for example, the first one was 22 across, and it said, "Mrs. B, you'll die when you hear what happened to me this summer." Me was underlined and in quotation marks. And the answer was, "Don't quote me on this," meaning you don't need the quotation marks around me in this situation or in this sentence.
Mm-hmm.
So don't quote me on this, of course, is a common phrase. Okay, the next one was 37 across. So we're at the convenience store, and wow, I find a $5 bill on the floor. And $5 is underlined. 5 has a dollar sign behind it, and then the word dollar. And the comment from the teacher was, "Your money's no good here," because it's not written appropriately as you would if you were writing a currency in an essay.
Sure.
Okay, the next one was 45 across. Surprise, surprise. Whom should walk in? Just my best friend ever. And whom is underlined because, of course, that's incorrect. And the answer was, halt, who goes here? Who goes there? So who instead of whom was the appropriate, but they used the common phrase, halt, who goes there?
Mm-hmm.
And then 64 across, me and Jamie ask if we can get a couple of scratchers. And me is underlined in that one. And the answer was, don't start with me. So, don't start with me. So, okay. Then we had 83 across. My mom buys them, and she knows how much I love lottery tickets. Love being underlined with having 10 O's in it. And the answer to that was, of course, all you need is love, Love. So, telling them don't go overboard with the O's there. And then we have 92 across. Scratch them yourself, girls, she says. So we do. And yourself is underlined, and that is 2 separate words, your and self. And the answer to that was, pull yourself together. So don't make it 2 words. And then finally, the last one was, OMG, can you believe it? We won the mall. And the mall is underlined, and it says, for the answer, you can't win them all. Not the mall, but them all.
Yes.
And if you answered the entire puzzle correctly, you get a little animation at the end, because a little yellow sticky note is affixed to the puzzle with a grade of C+, and the word fix with an exclamation point behind it. So this essay didn't do too well. Only got a C+.
Seems risky to be using sticky notes because you'd be losing them. I mean, they'd fly all over. They could fly all over the place.
That's right. That's right. And they could, say, well, there was no sticky note on mine, or my sticky note said A+, but I don't know where it is. Anyway, it was, I thought, kind of clever. Oh.
Well, apparently, the person the teacher referred to as Mrs. B was actually his sister, Julie Buffington, and she's a second grade teacher at some school. And she provided all of the red pen marks in the puzzle's original submission.
Oh, really?
It took a very long time for this to get accepted, but he persevered. This is his sixth puzzle, and I think this was his first acceptance, but it was accepted in March of 2023, and it kept getting bumped.
Oh.
So, or I don't know if it was getting bumped or if there were just others that were ahead of him in the queue. But
interesting.
Yes.
So, well, as a former teacher who's graded many essays, I could relate.
Yes. English is not everyone's. I mean, even if it is their first language, sometimes it seems like it's not their first language.
Right. But I was trying to think, I guess he must have, thought of the answers first, the common phrases, and then he had to come up with some sort of a sentence that would be in an essay that would violate whatever the phrase was trying to point out. It would have been a little bit of a challenge, I think, to put that together. But
well, in his notes, he doesn't say which order he did this in. But either way, it turned out to be a fantastic crossword.
Yep.
And his first for the New York Times.
Very good.
All of his crosswords have appeared on Sundays.
Oh, really?
Yep. Apparently, that's obviously his preferred day.
Well,
so,
very good.
There were other good clues in the grid, I thought.
Oh, yeah.
One across. Remained under cover was slept in.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And one down was the band made of Ginger, Scary, Posh, and Baby was Sporty.
That's right.
Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
And
the Spice Girls.
Right. And those are spices?
No, the Spice Girls, the musical group.
Right.
Yeah.
But I figured they
all
were
had, different personas, like Posh Spice, she always dressed really like high fashion, and Sporty Spice always was, kind of in a sweatsuit and joggers, and Baby Spice was, she was kind of short and had sort of a baby face, and so yes, those were their personas.
Who was Scary?
Scary Spice, she had her hair was just all wild, and she'd have like glam makeup, and just she was just a little out there, so they called her Scary Spice.
Yeah, this is of course pop culture, which means I have no knowledge of it whatsoever. I'm just taking your word for it. Here. The Spice Girls. Okay. I wonder if they now do gigs at Penzies. And for those of you unfamiliar, that is a Wisconsin company.
That's right, a Wisconsin spice company.
Yes.
Just down the road. At Wauwatosa.
Today's episode not brought to you by Penzies, but we keep hoping.
Yeah. Great spices.
Right under slept in, we had 18 across. Time to start the day. Up and atom.
Right.
And now I know how to spell atom because it was UPANDATEM, which sounded right.
Right.
But on the other hand, I was briefly toying with the OM as in atom.
Well, it's sort of the cousin to attaboy or attagirl.
Right.
This is atom.
Atom. Up and atom.
Up and atom.
And that E of atom crossed with 7 down. Volleyer in a doubles match. The net man.
Yes.
Seems to be very gender specific there, but I love the one right next to it. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's a 19 down. German possessive is, I want to pronounce it mine because it's spelled MEINE.
It is mine.
Really?
I believe so.
And that means mine, like in English?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
I think so.
Finally, an English cognate in German. Okay, good. And then next to that, 23 down, labyrinthine was mazy.
That's right.
Actually, it might be labyrinthine. Labyrinthine?
I put in maze,
I think it's labyrinthine.
but it's an adjective,
Yes.
so it's got to be mazy.
Which definitely sounds made up.
Yeah. But it must be a word.
That's got to be on the just the absolute periphery of the English language. It's like mazy. But I don't know.
I had great trouble with 8 across. John Singer Sargent portrait that scandalized Paris in 1884. And I eventually got it, and I'm like, Mad Amex. Mad Amex. Well, it turned out to be Madame X.
Madame X.
But I kept reading it. Mad Amex.
Do you know who Madame X was?
No.
I mean, you wouldn't. Her name was Madame X.
Yes.
And it scandalized Paris. I wonder what could scandalize Paris. Today, probably nothing.
Good question, yes.
We'll have to research Madame X,
Yeah.
see if we can find out about that. Let's see. We had 41 down was most spiders have 8. And at one point in the proceedings, because I had 53 across Old West actress, I had it starting with an M, and I thought it was going to be Meg for some reason. So I had E and a blank and a G, and I thought it was EEGs. And I was trying to figure out why spiders would have 8 electroencephalographs. That seemed extreme. And then I realized it was Mae West.
That's right.
And that meant it was ending in an I, so it was EYE. Most spiders have 8 eyes. Of course, I started with legs.
Right.
But
right.
they
Yeah.
have 8 eyes. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like IMAX camera built in.
I guess so. 30 across. Windfalls. Bonanzas.
Yes.
You don't see that word too often.
No, we don't see it enough, in my opinion.
Bonanzas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Let's see here. We had the 55 across group, abbreviation for group, with an in-season tournament beginning in 2023, NBA.
That's correct.
So I think yesterday they were involved in traveling.
That's right.
And
yes.
now they're back with some in-season tournament.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
63 across, progeny was scions, or possibly scions.
Right. Yeah.
Yes,
That's
scions.
another kind of unusual word you don't see too often.
Right.
Science, isn't it? Like science.
I am embarrassed to admit I do not know. I want scions.
Mm-hmm.
Scions sounds wrong. That sounds like something science fiction. Scions. I think scion sounds right.
Okay.
We'll have to check that out right after we finish with Maisie and whatever else we just committed to checking out.
Madame X.
Madame X, that's right.
Mm-hmm. We had 90 across. I like that one. Inappropriate to say, maybe. Un-PC.
Yes.
Un-PC.
I had a lot of trouble with 66 down, 1 in a historic trio, Nina.
Yes.
That took me a bit. I'm not quite sure why.
I think that's kind of a common clue for that, Nina.
I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it. Once I got it, I was just like, oh, I see. But
right.
For some reason, it wasn't coming to me at the time.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. We had 69 across. 2001 title role for Audrey Tattoo, Amelie.
Amelie.
And it's like, come on. But
I didn't know it either. So
got it through the process.
I put Amelia, and of course that didn't work too well. But 78 down, boy, I fell for that one. 78 down. Terms and conditions, example, abriv, and it was SYNS, synonyms.
Yes.
You know, I was thinking, legalese, something. What could you abbreviate for terms and conditions? Well, synonyms.
Mm-hmm.
No. Anyway, that was a good one.
We had 85 down being home of Pauley Pavilion, Abra, and that was UCLA.
Yes.
So I had it starting with U, and it was 4 letters, so I thought it was going to be Utah.
Me too.
Really?
But that's not an abbreviation. So
That is true.
I couldn't use it. So.
I have no idea what the Pauley Pavilion is.
No, I have not.
But
either. But
it is interesting how it's possible to solve a crossword when there are a whole lot of entries in the crossword that you don't know.
It's true.
There's got to be some limit. You have to know at least, I don't know, 25% of the answers before you can really get a handle on it.
I think it probably have to be more than that, but
Yeah,
you can kind of slough your way through it sometimes. But
right. I was reading a discussion on Reddit from someone who is not from North America, and talking about the difficulty of, solving crosswords when they don't know what UCLA is, or there's so many references to American ideas.
Sure.
And, most people are like, well, we just Google it. It's just like, how are you going to know who a coach is in Iowa, right? So, but.
Very true.
Although they did also point out that a lot of these clues reappear. So, for example, Ames is a college town in Iowa. You might not know that the first time, but after you've seen it like 8 or 9 times, it's going to sink in regardless of what country you're from.
That's very true. That's very true. So
101 across, tool with metal jaws, calipers.
Yes.
That took me forever.
Oh.
I'm like, I have no idea. But again, the crosses were gentle. So, like a shortcoming was a flaw.
Right.
95 down, 96 down. Faint-hearted was timid. So, and then voices one's views, 97 down was opines.
Oh, yes. Opines. That's a very common one.
Yes. I like that word.
Yep.
I think we need to use it more often. I would like to opine that we should use opines more often.
Very good.
The age-old mystery of how do you make the plural of aurora was answered by 118 across, polar sky phenomena, AURORAE.
AURORAE. AURORAE. I'm not sure you say that.
It's not a word that I see a lot, so I have to use a lot in casual
like
conversation.
Never.
Did you check out those AURORAE yesterday?
I mean, how many AURORAE can you see at one time?
Well, if you're a spider, you have like 8 eyes, so presumably you could see 8 of them.
I guess. Okay.
I mean, normally you refer to the aurora, sort of collective noun. You wouldn't say the auroras, even if you were
unless like there was an aurora. There was an aurora here a couple of days ago,
right?
And maybe while there was one here, there was also one in Montana. So I guess that would be AURORAE. I don't know. So.
It's probably coming from the same atmospheric phenomenon, but
that's true. But
actually, I don't even know if it's atmospheric or if it's like solar radiation that's impacting the magnetic field, something like that.
That's what caused the one here. I know that.
Oh, okay.
There's a solar flare.
We must have some astronomers listening to this podcast. Help us out with AURORAE, starting by telling us how to pronounce AURORAE. Just let us know, crosswordpodcast at iCloud.com.
Looks like AURORAE.
I don't know. That sounds like a cheer.
AURORAE.
AURORAE.
Okay.
I don't think it'll ever be the name of a university mascot. Here comes the Fighting AURORAE. We can't even see them. They're just sort of misty.
Yeah, just sort of hovering there.
That's right. We had 119 across. Devilish was demonical.
Yes.
And even as I was writing that down, just like, I guess it's a word.
I put demonize and I misspelled it so it would fit.
Oh. How did you spell it?
I put O-N and then twice. Demonize. So, no, that didn't work.
Well, you couldn't do that because you needed 109 down to be thanks blank, Amil.
Yes.
AMIL.
Yes.
Now, I feel 95% certain that Rex Parker would have had some sort of a fit at that point because, he sort of objects to Phil that is just crosswordese, and Emil sounds like it's bordering on that.
Well, I put a lot. Thanks a lot. That made sense to me.
Yes, yep.
And then I put thanks a ton.
Well,
I put thanks a mil.
Right. I mean, I've heard the phrase thanks a mil.
Oh, yeah.
Not very often. It just seems to me it should be spelled with 2 L's. Right?
You could tell from the way people say it. Oh, they said it with 2 L's.
They sort of extend the L, a mil, as opposed to a mil.
I don't know.
Let's see. We had 111 down. Yammer was yap.
Yep.
I like that. I thought that was good too. And right next to it, certainement, 93 down, was oui oui.
Oui oui.
So,
That is correct.
yep. All right. Well, this was a great crossword by John Kugelman.
Thank you, John.
And again, it's his 6th, and we're discussing it on the 6th of October. Wow. Talk about kismet. All right. That is it for today. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Remember, we always appreciate it if you can leave 5-star reviews wherever you're listening to this podcast. It helps grow our audience. And we will be back again with our cutting-edge analysis of tomorrow's crossword tomorrow.
Bye-bye.